What if Bruce Lee, the most iconic martial artist of the 20th century, was secretly shaped by the wisdom literature of the Bible, not the fire and brimstone of Revelation, not the laws of Leviticus, but the calm, razor-sharp counsel of Proverbs? This isn't fan fiction, it's fact. Tucked between his writings on kung fu and philosophy, Bruce Lee quoted the book of Proverbs, not once, not casually, repeatedly, as if Solomon were his silent sparring partner. Bruce Lee wasn't religious in the traditional sense. He wasn't preaching sermons, but he was building a philosophy. And in that philosophy, certain verses from Proverbs kept surfacing about discipline, about the power of words, about anger, and about self-control. The same verses you might hear in a Sunday school were being reinterpreted by a man who could take down 5 opponents in under a minute, or stop you cold with a single raised eyebrow. So what exactly did Bruce Lee see in Proverbs? Let's find out. Born in San Francisco in 1940 and raised in Hong Kong, Bruce Lee was a blend of cultures from the start. His father was a Cantonese opera star. His mother came from a wealthy Eurasian background. Bruce himself studied dance, drama, philosophy, fencing, and, yes, the Bible. While attending high school in the U.S., Lee was exposed to Christian texts as part of his education. But it wasn't theology that stuck with him. It was Proverbs, compact, punchy, precise. Like the literary version of a 1-inch punch, Proverbs doesn't waste words, neither did Bruce. His teachings, both physical and philosophical, were obsessed with the idea of essence, not fluff, not theory, but wisdom you could apply immediately. Strip away the unnecessary, focus on the core. Consider this passage. Better a patient man than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. Proverbs 16:32. That could have been written by Bruce himself. In fact, it matches his teachings almost word for word. Lee taught that martial arts were not about domination, they were about mastering the self. To Bruce, power was dangerous without restraint. That's the heart of many proverbs. Power without wisdom leads to ruin. A sword in the hands of a fool only causes blood. He once said,
"A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer."
That's not a direct quote from Proverbs, but the spirit is there. Like Proverbs 13:20, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Even Lee's most famous philosophical quote,
"Be water, my friend,"
feels like a remix of biblical wisdom. Think Proverbs 25:15. "Through patience a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone." Be soft, but unstoppable. Lee's journals, letters, and writings are filled with aphorisms that mirror the tone and purpose of Proverbs. He believed in short, memorable truths, in words that hit like strikes. He didn't need a pulpit, he had a punch. He wrote,
"It is not a daily increase, but a daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential."
That's the essence of Proverbs 4:25-27. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet. Do not swerve to the right or the left. Focus, strip away distractions, stay on course. Bruce Lee wasn't trying to Christianize martial arts, but he understood the value of timeless wisdom. And he had no problem quoting it when it made his students better, stronger, or calmer. In Proverbs 17:27 it says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered." Lee said,
"Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless."
Different words, same principle. Whether he was throwing a punch or writing a page, Bruce Lee was after the same thing Solomon sought: wisdom, the kind that lasts, the kind that doesn't just win fights, it changes people. But what does this tell us about Bruce Lee's inner world, the part beyond the screen? Many fans think of Bruce as a body, fast, ripped, lethal, but Bruce thought of himself as a student, a philosopher, a bridge between East and West. In his notebooks, he scribbled not just fight sequences, but reflections on silence, restraint, and ego.
Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do.
That's not just motivational fluff. It's Proverbs 14:23. "All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty." He wrote of the danger of arrogance, quoting ancient Chinese masters, but it mirrors Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Bruce trained harder than anyone, not just physically, but mentally. He believed your mind had to be sharper than your fists. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Lee called this emotional rhythm, the ability to disarm without escalating, to win without war. And let's not forget, Bruce faced racism, Hollywood racism, systemic racism. He was told an Asian man couldn't be a star in America. He was told to teach only Asian students. He defied all of it. And he did it not with outrage, but with purpose. That's Proverbs 24:10. If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? Bruce didn't falter. He recalibrated, trained, waited, then exploded onto the world stage. He wrote,
Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own.
That's Proverbs 2:2. Turn your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Bruce Lee died in 1973 at just 32 years old, but he left behind more than action movies. He left behind notebooks, letters, words, ideas, many of which echo Proverbs in both tone and content. In the years since his death, Bruce Lee has become a global symbol, not just of physical mastery, but of philosophical clarity. His legacy has grown beyond Hollywood and martial arts. Schools study his writings. Motivational speakers quote him. But how many realize the echoes of Proverbs behind his sharpest wisdom? Let's take a closer look at Lee's training philosophy. He famously rejected rigid styles. He believed that style was the enemy of growth. He said,
If you always put limits on what you can do, physical or anything else, it'll spread over into the rest of your life.
That idea aligns closely with Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. To Bruce, training wasn't just about fighting, it was about sharpening, mental discipline, emotional resilience, moral awareness. He believed in flow, in flexibility, in adaptation. Be like water was not just a fight technique, it was a worldview. The same energy behind Proverbs 20 verse 5. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Bruce trained for clarity, for stillness in motion, for control under pressure, and most of all, for personal truth. He told his students not to mimic him, but to find their own path, their own rhythm, their own understanding. That's Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is supreme, so get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. Bruce Lee's understanding didn't come easy. He suffered injuries, setbacks, critics, but he used each as fuel. Even his notorious back injury, one that nearly paralyzed him, became a turning point. During his recovery, he wrote some of his most profound insights. Pain became a teacher, like Proverbs 20:30. Blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings purge the inmost being. He didn't avoid the pain, he absorbed it, transformed it, taught from it. This is what made Bruce Lee's wisdom so effective and so aligned with Proverbs. It wasn't abstract, it was earned, lived, tested. He lived a short life, but it was dense with meaning. Proverbs 10:7 says, "The memory of the righteous is a blessing." Bruce's memory isn't just a blessing, it's a blueprint. He took ancient truths, stripped them of dogma, and turned them into living philosophy. So maybe Bruce Lee didn't believe the Bible in a traditional sense, but he used it like a weapon, like a shield, like a lamp. He once wrote,
To hell with circumstances, I create our opportunities.
That's Proverbs 3:5-6 with a black belt. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs offers no guarantees, just guidance. Bruce Lee took that guidance, tested it, and reinterpreted it for the dojo, the screen, and the soul. If stories like this, where ancient verses shape modern icons, interest you, subscribe for more. There's wisdom hidden in the footnotes of history. We're here to bring it to light.